possible because we're live. And if I'm going to be sniffling, that's going to be awful. And I've got allergies, and that's how it goes. But
allergies are bad out there today.
I guess today it's bad. I mean, we're getting nice 70, 80 degree weather and, long days. Spring has sprung here. So that means my nose is about to start exploding.
Yeah, me too. I've been getting it for sure.
Yeah, it is what it is. But welcome, everyone.
Good morning.
What's up?
I think all three of us have our beautiful carpets and coffee mugs. Oh, except for
Pete.
Although pizza's good, but damn it, Lucas.
I got mine from the outside world today.
Is it pizza West Coast coffee or is that?
Yeah,
is it West
it's
Coast
really
coffee?
good, dude.
Oh, that's so weird that you don't have that.
So here's my thoughts.
We have it like in bagged and stuff, but right. I've tasted it, but not.
We actually have like
originated in Berkeley, I think.
Yeah.
Berkeley, California.
So it's pretty much a Bay Area and sort of NorCal, California direct competitor with Starbucks, but they are kind of different.
It's just better.
It really is. It really is. I'm not a corporate coffee guy in any way, shape, or form. I find that they usually take the cheap, easy route, and sources aren't great. And I like fair trade coffee and shade grown coffee and stuff that's a little more ethically thought out. And sometimes you can't get one with the other sort of thing. But Pete's is actually good. They have some really good different stuff, and it's good coffee.
They upped their food game too. A couple of years ago, they switched their food. It's so good. They have this bacon cheddar sandwich thing. I ate 2 of them this morning.
Woo! Nice.
Get it all out of your system now while you're in your 20s, man. Because once you get to my age, you can't even look at the bacon sandwich.
That's fair. Yeah.
But live it up now, man. Take advantage because it just goes right out.
Hey, you look great, man.
And if you want cool mugs like this, you can get them from the Teespring NPR.
That's right.
Yeah.
I do like mine. Just pretend.
It makes the coffee taste better.
Yes. I am a member of this Coffee of the Month club.
Oh, nice.
And basically similar to what you're saying, it's like these local it's from all over, but it's like little mom and pop roasters, and they have these blends, and it's pretty cool because you go in and you sort of put your taste profile in, and you on the app when you get the coffee, you kind of rate it, and then it kind of will kind of see where your preferences lie and stuff. And
nice.
It's pretty cool. So
that's neat.
That's
they
awesome.
have this I just got it today. I didn't have time to make it, but they have this thing where you can make iced coffee. But it's like this coffee pot, and I guess you I've never made iced coffee, but I guess you put the coffee in this little contraption, and it kind of over time it just goes into it makes you put it in the fridge, and it
seeps. Some cold brew.
Yes, cold brew.
Nice.
Yeah,
love cold.
That's
brew.
Good. Yeah, cold brew is really good. The
cold
problem
brew gets
is
jacked.
Yeah, well, see, the problem is it's so easy to drink too. You're like, just have a whole fucking thing, dude. Straw. You're just like,
isn't it true? Isn't it true that the boiling water burns off some of the caffeine or something? Heat can kill some of the caffeine. So then when you do the cold brew, you just get all of it.
I think so. Yeah. I
think that's true because dark roast has less caffeine than light roast. But anyway,
maybe, could be. Yeah. We're gonna roll with that.
We're just gonna say yes and sound smart. I did want to say welcome to Summer, girl with scales. I'm glad she's here. She had a little bit of some stress and anxiety in a 2-day episode. I saw her post something about it on Facebook, and I personally have dealt with things like that, and so I did see that she's doing better, and she finally got some sleep and stuff. But I wanted to say I'm glad that you're spending some time here with us instead of sleeping and resting after that. But glad to see you're doing all right.
It's we were talking about this the other day at my work, right? And we're having this, not to go into work, but this sort of equates to the whole feeling of the world. And it's overwhelming. And like, for me, like I was stressed out. I was so glad that we did the private inland stream last night, for the inland tier people.
Yeah, if you guys aren't patrons and you want to know what we're talking about, bump yourself up to the inland tier on Patreon and find out once a month.
That's right.
It's a good time.
Yeah, but it was good stress relief because, we're at this weird situation, and I really feel for, younger people. And, I just think that the whole situation that they're inheriting is just like screwed up, man. It's just so screwed up. Like you have people coming out of college that, people, when I was growing up, if you didn't go to college, you were a loser, so it's like loser, and like not everybody's meant to go to college, and so you just went just to go, and then you have this huge freaking bill that's basically a mortgage for the rest of your life, and you're graduating, and then you're making $10 an hour. Like, I mean, it's
bleak. There's no doubt.
And then from the business point of view, like trying to run a supermarket, right? You're trying to get people in. And because I have a union that's sort of like, we're the only game in town that has a union when you're competing with other like Walmart and now Amazon is coming. And that's the one that I fear the worst, because if an Amazon has a grocery store, it's game over, man. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, where do you go? How do you compete with Bezos and like his bottomless pit of money? I don't know, man, but sorry to bring the whole tone down.
No, it's very
just
true.
That's what I always do, is bring the tone down.
Yeah.
Pivot to depressing environmental facts. Yeah.
Says the guy who gets to go like field herping for work, biology, field worker.
Yeah. Well, the downside to that is that you just go outside and watch how everything's falling apart.
Yeah. Well, when you sit at home, you see it on TV. So
that's true.
So I guess my message to young people is, I'm sorry that the world is a screwed up place for you, but hopefully you guys will be able to fix it. I have faith that you will be. But
I think this time right now, it's really shown just how vulnerable some of our systems are: the university system, the school system, the healthcare system, the workforce, all these things. What's doing really well? It's the trades, it's the local stuff. It's the essentials, you need people to work on your house. You need people to work on your car. You need people who can make food. You need people who can provide the resources to take care of your animals and keep your, everything good at home. So like, go create, go invent, go do stuff, take the biggest risk of your life ever right now, because there's no crazier time to do it. Like, everything is risky. So might as well, roll the dice on something and, try doing what you love, go come up with a cool new freaking roast of coffee and like reinvent coffee like cold brew did. Like, seriously, like it might sound goofy, but it's only crazy until somebody goes out and tries it and actually makes it a thing, like all good revolutionary ideas started out as crazy ideas.
Like a cheesesteak. Who would put a steak?
Okay, can we talk about that? Can we talk about that? I need to talk about this. I have a confession to make. I had a cheesesteak on Saturday, Eric.
Yes.
Soon as it hit the table, I was like, this is not a cheesesteak. It was not on the right roll. It was cut in half and set off to the side, all like bougie like, and I was like, what is this shit? And then it was good tri-tip because it was at a really good barbecue joint, but it was like all thick and just like one slab. I'm like, no. You got a thin slice, you got to pack it in. But they had like good cheese and good peppers and some mushrooms on it. So like the flavor was all right. But like, dude, I was sitting the whole time I'm sitting there thinking of Scally's shit-eating grin going, here's your cheesesteak. And throwing me the best cheesesteak ever.
Yeah, 100%.
Back before I gave up beef, because I don't eat beef anymore, I did have one in Philadelphia. So at least I got that experience in my life.
You scared me.
Oh, I don't remember. It was in 8th grade.
Okay. All right.
I don't remember, but it was really good. So at least I checked that off the list before.
Wait, you're not a vegan, are you?
No. Remember We talked about this. I tried that in college and I couldn't keep up with it because bacon is too good.
True.
I didn't eat meat for 6 years because I worked cutting meat and it just
Damn.
I couldn't do it.
That I get at the fish market.
Couldn't do it.
No, I can't eat
man.
seafood because I touched it too much for years.
Yeah, so
I believe that.
It's nasty. You see things, man.
Yeah,
Even the best fish has worms and nasties in it.
Yeah, those little orange worms that are going through the flounder. You're like,
yes,
exactly. Like, what is this? Like, wait a minute, that's a worm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man!
Wow, we went left field. Okay,
no, but I'm glad we this is something we would always talk about. Is like we got to have like our little intro and like the coffee section and this and that. So we totally did that naturally without even realizing. It was great.
It's just a bunch
and
of
I drank all my coffee, man.
I know.
You guys are not prepared.
I know. We should have brought the pot down. Holy shit!
I got the whole thing.
Always next time.
Bonjour, Mr. French press.
Yeah,
that's right.
This is the third press I've gone through.
Oh my god!
I seem to have
today.
No.
Oh
no. As far as like the press itself goes, I've broken them in catastrophic ways a couple times.
Oh, I've definitely.
So I keep breaking the glass beaker.
You're washing it and then you accidentally like tap the sink and it just explodes.
Right. Well, and I that construction job that I worked a couple years ago, where I was throwing hammers. I was basically doing steel cylinder hammers in steel molds on concrete buckets and concrete floors for 40 hours a week. And so I have like very little feeling and like tension control in my hands these days. So I randomly drop shit too.
Right.
I'll just like Rachel doesn't like it when I grab her nice wine glasses anymore, unless it's the tall ones where she can't reach them because I'm liable to drop it. And I've dropped and I've broken 2 like irreplaceable wine glasses this year. So I just drop things. I can't. So yeah, I've dropped a few presses. What can I say?
Nice.
It happens.
Yeah, I used to wake up and not be able to feel my hands from like my elbow down from that job.
Oh really?
Yeah, because I'd be like
just the constant vibration and
because it's concrete floor with a huge poured concrete bucket, and that's your base, and you've got a steel mold, and you're throwing a steel cylindrical 5 or sometimes 10-pound hammer hundreds and hundreds of times for 8 hours a day, and all that reverberation is going back up through your arms, dude. I'd wake up every morning and I'd have to like lay in bed until I could feel my arms because I'd go to like try and push myself up, my arms. I'm like, oh shit. Dude, it's like Ace Ventura when he gets hit with all the darts. 3 darts is too much.
Yeah, there you go.
Like me every morning. So I still have issues from that, but I guess it makes it nice. Like if I get bit by snakes, I don't really feel it on the hands that much.
Okay.
Perks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pluses are pluses. Yeah.
Yeah. John knows exactly what I'm talking about. John Burgoyne over here. He's I guess he's a handyman, stonemason / jack of all trades over there across the pond. He's probably the only gentleman in the UK with a Riley's Reptile shirt.
So I'm trying to figure out what the snake is in his avatar. It kind of looks like a blood python, or is it a rainbow boa? What is that?
He has both, and he has a coastal, so it could be either or.
That's a blood python.
It looks like his blood python. Yeah. John. He posts a lot of his cool crafts and things. He's also a very skilled guitarist. You'd like that, Eric. He makes cool. Like whiskey box guitars and cool slides, and he'll post licks and videos and stuff he plays on his Instagram. It's really, really bluesy soul. Like he'll go out fishing.
Right in my alley, man.
Builds up like this cool van wood panels and he'll play in it. Dude, you'd love his content, but he's also got like, cool snakes. He's got a rainbow, he's got a blood, he's got a carpet, he's got a few other things. And John
Python
and I
guy.
Guitarist
with a guitar. I know.
Yeah.
Pretty much spot on.
John, cheers to you, John. Thank you for joining us today from across the pond. Tony, I am working on my anger issues, but I never take my anger out on the coffee. That's the anger resolver.
Yes, man.
Yeah. So
unless you listen to, what was that band you sent me yesterday with the
that was a Cannibal Corpse lick. That was their new that was their new guitarist. He came over from Hate Eternal.
Popped for having a bunch of human skulls and like 80 unregistered guns or something.
Yeah. What? What I like to listen to.
Doesn't everybody have that? I don't understand. What do you mean?
Where are your skulls, Riley?
It was though I just really appreciated the finesse in the guitar playing at that damn speed.
Yeah, man, those metal rhythm players, man, are holy shit.
That dude's right forearm is like
it's just you know.
in that
it's like he's uneven, you know. It's
yeah. I'm sure his wrist and his fingers on his left hand are like massive, and then like his right hand is all like clawed foot, but then like
the hardest rhythm lick that I ever had to play correctly is Creeping Death by Metallica.
My God.
I used to do that as a cover, and
so fast.
It's like, and it's all downstrokes to get that right tone, you know. So yeah, I could not do
so fast too. It just doesn't stop. I'm creeping.
Does that?
New Patreon
that little
with Eric.
Yeah, there you go.
Man.
That little arpeggio that Kirk Hammett pulls off when the band stops.
Yeah, dude, that whole album ripped.
Good stuff. Now I'm more of a. I went from that heavier stuff, and now I'm old, and I like the blues.
You went from old '80s thrash metal to Joe Bonamassa.
Yeah, or John Mayer, or Stevie Ray Vaughan, or
can't go wrong.
Eric Clapton.
All talented guitarists, amazing musicians. Yeah.
He hates anything with constant triplets. Yeah, man.
I feel like I'm getting more and more into like fingerstyle stuff. You know?
Oh, your fingerstyle?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's just been more. It's been more fun because like I can only play alone during COVID, so it's more fun to do that. Like the blues is better with others.
Yeah.
Get the whole sound of it all.
Yeah.
It's I gotta say, man, like, when I was coming up as a guitar player, and now I look at some of the people like on Instagram or YouTube, and like the level of talent is just like, it just blows me away how talented some of these young guitar players are. They're just freaking amazing, just like, and it's so awesome when you discover something new. I think it's something new. And then of course I send it to, usually Lucas is like, yeah, man, what are you talking about? I've listened to that for years.
Yeah.
And then he's messaging you and Owen on the side. Look at Eric, all old, saying this. He's like, these guys came out 10 years ago. What is he talking about?
Well, COVID's given us all the time in the world to perfect our craft, right? So
hell yeah, man. Yeah.
I wish this had happened when I was younger or something. Because like, man, when I was younger, I had the motivation to like go out skating 8 hours a day or play guitar for a few hours at a time or whatever. And now I'm just like, I got a bunch of snakes to clean. I got a bunch of I'm going to sit on my ass for like an hour and watch YouTube videos and unwind.
Take a nap. What the hell?
I don't take naps. I cannot bring myself to waste that time.
I literally can't, even if I try. I just like lay there.
Oh, I could nap every single day. I could nap standing up at work if I wanted to. Like I could fall asleep. Don't get me wrong.
When I joined the chat, Riley was napping with his eyes open. He was just like, I was like, are you alive? Are you okay?
And then you said hello, and I heard my headphones over here making noise. Like, oh shit, he's there. Whoops. I'm always on early, so I was just like watching something else, zoning out. But
all good. All good.
Yeah. These days, I can nap, but if I lay down to nap, I get this nagging feeling of like I've got stuff I could be doing that's way more useful with this time.
Yeah.
So yeah, like all these snakes, all the damn carpet pythons that keep winding up here.
Keep you busy. Yes.
Yeah. So no, it's
That's
good.
fun.
I like being busy. If I'm not busy, I go crazy and I get myself into trouble.
Little diamond pythons are out.
Nice. Oh, by the way, Eric, it's looking like, so we've had this pair of Ackies in the shop for sale.
Yeah.
For like, I don't know, 8 months, 9 months. Like they were at the previous shop before we moved over, and we got them as juveniles from I don't even remember, but they're really good quality, and they're now pretty much adults and they're a pair. And now my boss is like, man, I think we might just keep them. Oh, sweet.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I have a
Yeah, I
question.
like them a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Question.
Yeah.
How, like, with snakes, obviously, if you need to like go on a trip for a week or something like that, change waters, you're gonna be fine. They're good. How long can a monitor go, an Ackie specifically, go unattended before it's not good?
Mm.
Is it? Do they need every day?
Maybe a day?
Okay.
Yeah,
Maybe a day?
like 2 days. Yeah, actually, if you listen to the second episode of the Monitor Keeping podcast, there is a section of the episode where both Kai and Alan they speak on that specific topic. And Kai, he specializes in indicus, so he's got the mangroves, so very humid tropical species. He's got babies, he's got adults, he's got a few other species and things like that, plus his grasshopper breeding colonies. And with everything he has, he says he really can't leave for more than a day. Alan recorded that episode while on vacation in a hotel room, and he kind of gave some insight into what he did for some of the animals. Like some of them, he turned off the like main basking light, so they're still running at ambient, so their body can still process, but they're not like burning through their fat stores under a 120 degree basking lamp for 5 days without access to food. So it kind of keeps them going, but it doesn't, like, they're not running full peak, but they're not shut down like into a winter. And then he gave a few other examples of some things he did. Like he threw some babies into an incubator set at like 86 and a couple things like that. And I think everything went fine. I'm sure he'll talk about it later, but monitors, yeah, if you turn off that basking lamp, they can just kind of run at like a homeostasis level for a little while. But the high humidity requiring species, or some of those really tropical species, they don't do well for long without attention and food like that, especially babies. So
Sure.
Yeah.
Like I would love to get something, but I don't think I can do it until my band days are over.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the month, I'm just gonna take off and we're gonna go work on music at a cabin for a week, and that's totally cool with what everything I have here. But I know that if I had something like a monitor, I wouldn't have that freedom anymore.
Right.
Yeah, I have no problem leaving for a weekend with everything I have, and I've got a Savannah monitor. I just feed him right before I leave, and he's good for a couple of days. He's a freaking tank.
Yeah.
But some species aren't as forgiving.
Right.
So
you need yourself a sugar mama, Lucas.
I know.
You just need yourself a sugar mama, move in, have the space just for you two, and then just teach her to love all your animals. Be like, by the way, I'm gonna be gone for a week. Take care of the animals.
Yeah.
By the way, we are taking applications at info@moreliapythonradio.com for
the Lucas Lee dating challenge is online.
Can Owen just send me a check every week? You can be my sugar mama.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Luckily my dad's back into it. So if, when I go to Australia or whatever, he'll take care of my stuff. But yeah, that was definitely why I sort of hesitated with that for so long.
Well, it's definitely a consideration to take into your collection, regardless if it's monitors or not. Like when fitting an animal into your lifestyle, it has to fit your lifestyle. If you travel a lot, that's something to be mindful of.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So. I'm stoked though that's a thing again. It's gonna be the first band stuff in like over a year and a couple months.
That's awesome, man.
Nice.
Yeah, that's very cool. I'm very jealous. I miss playing in a band, just the jamming and
NPR band. Let's do it.
Yeah. Every time I think the closest we came was it was me, Brian, and Joe at the one Carpet Fest. We're sort of like somewhat sort of like, you know what I mean? It wasn't like, I don't know. I was trying to get them like, what can we play? Like, you know, and then just play a little riff, and then like, you know, everybody's waiting to go over top of it. And I'm like, go ahead, man, jam out. Like, come on.
We'll see, like, if I come
on.
over, we could just sit on a blues and just jam it out.
Oh, dude. Yeah,
John
man.
Mayer style.
100%.
It's going to happen.
Yep.
And I'll sit there and drink whiskey and provide ambiance.
There you go.
Your presence is music in itself.
Riley will just yell, "Roo!" every once in a while.
So what's up with your diamonds, Eric?
Yes,
Since we last talked. Any news? Any learnings?
We want diamonds.
Well, I want to learn. I'm learning through him. So as he's going through his learning in their first season and some of the observations he's making, I'm curious about because the Bradley to me are so unique and different, and they kind of follow a similar thing as the diamonds. Now I'm like really curious.
So I was going to pull the female out, but they're laying together, so I'm not going to touch them.
Sure.
It's weird, man. It's very weird. It's one of those things where it's not different than other carpet pythons, but like it's just a weird time. And so basically what I did is I have extended now the basking period from so it's about where am I at? I'm at an 8-hour basking spot at time. So the basking spot and there's a 2-hour ramp, 1 hour on the front and 1 hour on the back, that it kind of goes up, then it turns off at night. She's constantly basking now, which makes me think that she's on her way.
Very good.
Sounds like she's building follicles at the very least.
Yeah, and she looks super thick. The crazy thing is that, you know, with diamond pythons, she's only eaten. I've fed her once so far this year. When she came out. Actually, no, I'm lying. 2 meals, 2 medium rats. And before that, she stopped eating in October. And then she basically would get a rat a month, and she's put on size, which just
it's a good sign.
It's just weird. I don't know, man. It's definitely different. I think the thing I'm nervous most about is making it too hot, or leaving the heat on for too long, or not long enough, right? Because there's such a cold, adaptive python that, and I'm probably just in my head, and it's just, you know, it's just super easy or whatever, and I'm just making a big deal about it. But I guess because it's new, it's one of those things. I just put them together, and basically I'm going to leave them together. They've been in the nest box together. They've been out of the nest box. The one cool thing about diamond pythons is they kind of build a nest unlike other carpets. I would imagine that nest is because of maybe the conditions that they have to face in order to to successfully
because they're
hatch and clutch.
They're in somewhat of a tropical rainforest in North Queensland, right?
Yeah, so
there's a lot of foliage, there's a lot of cover. Anytime I watch Peter Birch's videos and he's like releasing diamonds out there, I'm paying attention to the landscape, and it's very green and lush, and he says certain times of the year there's a lot of rain. So if you got a lot of ferns and dense canopy, it's probably pretty moist there. So I would imagine that nesting behavior is advantageous to protect the eggs from the surrounding moisture.
Yeah. So by the way, anybody looking to make naturalistic enclosures for anything Australia, this book is probably one of the greatest books to get ideas of what the environment actually looks like. You know, I mean, there's just tons of pictures of environment in there, but
that's awesome.
It's a lot like this picture right here. You know what I mean? So
kind of Jurassic Parky.
Yeah. So I I don't know. I've caught 3 locks. Oh, the Aki's out too. Oh
Very
man,
good.
everybody's out.
So are you
Blue
separating?
tongue's out.
Are you? Oh, that's right. You got the blue tongue. I
The
forgot.
blue tongue, the Aki, all the diamonds are out. What the heck? They're joining us for carpets and coffee. All right.
Hell yeah.
They're learning the
They're
routine.
natives. So are you offering food to the diamonds right now and like separating just briefly for feeding, or you just did a couple meals and now you're letting them be?
I think what I'm gonna do is, I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna take her out this week. I'm gonna give it a week of them. So basically, 2 weeks together. I'm gonna separate them out, feed them both, see where she's at, like follicular growth wise, and all that, and then sort of put them together and just ride out the season and see what happens.
Okay.
If they are successful, it's the easiest thing I've ever done breeding wise, I mean,
Right.
yeah.
So it does like in my mind, it does equate similar to the schedule and regiment Lucas and I are following with the Bredli. That sounds right, Lucas?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Because I've got my pair separated. I'm gonna feed them today. The male had a shed a week ago. The female is dark and has been putting on size, so I'm planning on giving her a nice big meal today. Kick her into shed, repair, and then leave them be.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, at least from what I've gathered, like with my conversations with Nick, the hope is that these post brumation feedings should be. I love that. Yeah, go for it. But yeah, these post brumation feedings should be contributing to that follicular development, and the shed, I guess, is just kind of a helpful, kickstart for them, because after they shed, they have a really strong chemical
seems to reset a lot of their biological cycles every time they shed. It reinvigorates all of their all instincts.
Those oils and that when you touch a really fresh shed, it's kind of slick. Like I guess what I've heard is that there's a lot of I don't know if pheromones would be the right word, but some kind of chemical cue in that can help the male know whether it's time, or it's something of an aphrodisiac for them, if you will.
So I'm looking at my female right now. Her cage is atrociously disgusting, and I'm like ashamed of it. Disgusting. And she's been looking thick and dark, and now she's got her back half wrapping the bowl. And ever since I pulled the male out, as soon as I pulled the male out, she went back to like being this like tight coil sort of sitting. Whereas when I had the male in, she was kind of just like all over, just doing her thing. So I'm just observing totally different behaviors with them than I do when I'm pairing and separating other carpets.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's interesting. I haven't really noticed like any water bowl wrapping or anything of that sort over here for me, but I've only had, I guess, 2 out of my 4 have shed now, and most of them are just sticking in those lay boxes pretty much exclusively, and the males will go in and out. So I'm just kind of crossing my fingers that when they're in there, they're actually doing something, but I haven't visually confirmed that.
So that's the other thing. I've got a couple snakes that have lay boxes that are not going to breed this year, and I might move one in with her today or tomorrow. And they're clear, so I can see, but I'm curious to see what her response to a lay box coming in is, because she's got a hide, she's got a tube, she's got her water bowl, she's got space. It's just totally different. And it's crazy to think that like I'm looking at a clutch of eggs to drop in 8 days from a coastal carpet while I'm trying to breed my Bredli.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just a completely different timeline.
That's been the biggest struggle for me, is that timeline, because I'm so I mean, for the past 10 years I've been breeding the holiday cycle where it's October you stop, Thanksgiving you cool, Christmas you put together.
Well, dude, I mean, why breeding Crebos was super bizarre to me for that same reason, because it was even earlier. It was like the opposite in weirdness. Like, you think Bredli and Diamond are weird, they're earlier than normal, Python breeding. And then rainbows, they kind of just overlap everything and do their own. I'm just like, yeah, I don't really have like a rut I'm stuck in. But when it comes to pythons, I'm not used to what Bredli need.
Right.
Yeah, if I ever get to the point where I'm breeding monitors, really not a focus for me, but holy shit, man, that's gonna really throw me for a loop.
Yeah, it's a whole nother thing. I hang on every word Grant says when he's teaching me about what's going on with the monitors and paying attention to our black dragon. I can see it when she cycles now, so I can tell when she's ovulating. I'm like, wow, that's totally different from snakes, and the timeline is different, and the climate can have an effect on it. Like, she went through 2 cycles, and normally, water monitors will cycle 90 days apart or so. She had 50 days in between 2 clutches of eggs. It was just absurd. Just eating and eating and eating, and just like, and then stops eating, and then digging, and then massive clutch of 14 eggs, and then back on food. And 3-4 weeks later, ovulation. I'm like, what? This is just nuts.
And how long are those going to incubate? Those eggs?
Like 200 days.
Holy crap.
Yeah, like 180 to 200 days. So,
that's insane.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've really talked about it, but is there a specific like carpet pairing that you're sort of looking at for this upcoming season that you'd like has caught your eye, or anything that's sort of like
the next season?
No. I mean, like something that somebody else is breeding, but like, this season that you see around, something that you're like, oh man, I wouldn't mind having something from.
Yes,
that
your inlands.
There you go. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I think I second that in anything inland related.
Oh wait, I meant diamonds. My bad. But inlands too, but diamonds. That's what I meant to say.
Oh, Lucas.
I gotcha.
Oh, Lucas. One day you'll get your head on straight. We'll be there for you. We'll always be in your corner, cheering you on along the way. Providing the ice pack for your bloody noses when you trip over your own feet.
You mean when Owen punches me in the face and tells me that
don't sell CPS? I mean, obviously, I'm really geek on getting some womas from my boss's womas at work.
Me too.
Because that's just a matter of time. It's just
I'll take 3.
I did see Balin post that he got a clutch from a zebra to zebra clutch. And I'm really, really interested to see his results, just to follow the longevity of the clutch, see how many eggs make it from start to finish. And then I'm curious to see his results, see the ratios, and then if he is fortunate to produce some supers, how those look. Mm-hmm. The reason why I'm so curious is not necessarily that I'm looking to add more, but I think the stigma and the concern over the kink tail and super zebras has dramatically influenced people's ability or desire to want to work with them. So you don't see them as much as you would expect. I mean, zebras have been around for 15 years.
Yeah.
So a super zebra isn't that far-fetched these days, but you don't see them very often. And I understand if people maybe are misinformed and think there's like an ethical concern about producing a super zebra, but like, I don't know, man. I've got a 2-year-old female whose tail is perfect.
Okay.
So, but she's also sibling to a male who's got a full knuckle, and I had to snip off a nub, so like, to me, it's kind of like as variable as Neuro and Jag still, until it's, outcrossed to the point where you just don't see it anymore. Because it does seem to be reduced by outcrossing. Nick has kind of demonstrated that a lot and discussed that at length at times. And I think, I just think, there's a weird taboo about it. People don't want to produce something that has a known imperfection. And I just think
Yeah.
that's
Some
really
people
hindered. Yeah, and I think and I think that's hindered what the potential we could be seeing with super zebras. I mean, you want to talk about selective breeding of jungles for the best blacks and the best yellows? Why not super line breed the best zebras? Within reason. You obviously have to maintain the outcrossing aspect, but try and make the nicest yellows or see what else is in there. I don't know. Like my female has jet black eyes. I have no idea why. The male does not. So I don't know what that means. Nick doesn't know what that means. It seems like natural variation, but I could be wrong. And that's just something that seems like another avenue that could be explored. I don't know. It just seems like people love it when I post a photo of a super zebra. They're like, wow, that's amazing. I love it. It's beautiful. I want one. But it's like, they're not hard to make. Zebras are everywhere. Why aren't they more plentiful?
Yeah.
For me, when I was heavy into the morphs, it was very much yes, I wanted them all, that kind of thing and everything. And I think what I've learned to appreciate more than anything with carpet pythons is just their variability and their pattern. And I think it's really cool, but I just kind of think that maybe people are looking for that, that pattern, and with the super zebra, it's kind of
Sure.
there. And I think a lot of people thought that they were just going to be this neon yellow snake,
right?
And nobody realized that it's going to take some doing, because you're with the zebra, there's a lot of black on that pattern, and I think does it sort of just wash into I don't know.
Bit. It does, yeah. I think it does. I think you can. I think if you use really muddy zebras, you'll get a really muddy super. This is just all anecdotal and hypothesis. This is not verifiable. Sure. I haven't produced hundreds of super zebras from different animals, so I can't really quantify this claim. But we obviously know carpets are a species where quality in equals quality out. But think about Nick's ivory stuff, 75% ivory zebras. What does an ivory super zebra look like? We don't know yet. So there's a new frontier, and that because of the ivory line being separate from zebra stuff, you have some outcrossing, even though Nick did line breed it and this and that, but it is unrelated. So you could kind of play with that and keep it healthy and ethical. I don't know. I get it. It's kind of like you can't add any more pattern in there, and the color kind of is just one color and that's it. It's the same thing why the sterling boas in boa morphs kind of isn't really taking off as some people would like it to, because it's a patternless one color animal sort of, and you can't really build upon that project wise. So I get that. And obviously we all love carpets for their natural variability and color. So I get that too.
Yeah. It's, I think what I'm going to do is every episode that we do of Carpets and Coffee, I'm going to share a picture of a wild carpet. And as I go through my files and to just show you the insane variability of a carpet. Here is one right here. And let's see, share screen. Application window.
I like that plan.
Yeah.
Look at this thing.
Wow. What is that? Where's that from?
Is that a diamond intergrade?
It is. It would be in the imbricata area, but I mean, look at that. And
I don't even know how to describe that. It's like you see defined pattern from the ventral, going from ventral up the side flanks, but then at about midway, there's this lateral line where it just obliterates it and turns it into almost like a granity diamond fishnetting sort of thing.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's in imbricata territory?
Yeah. There it is, crossing the road.
So for people listening to the audio right now, if you've ever seen a road where it's like a tarmac and they throw just a bunch of gray stones down and scram black, that's what the snake looks like. And it's on it's on one of these roads, and there's a zoomed out photograph, and it's like the snake is camouflaging to this man-made. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, that's pretty funny, isn't it?
That's
camouflaging.
How ironic.
The man-made.
Because you read a lot about how carpets do really well around man-made civilization. We provide insulation, we attract prey and rodents and mammal-based prey that they consume well. And, you know, obviously this animal hasn't evolved to, match our roadways, but it's kind of funny how similar it looks.
It's in the Western Imbricata range.
Wow.
So,
where we could have been last year.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. Son of a bitch.
But that's my wild carpet of the day. I like that idea.
Eric, I love that.
Eric, that just reminded me how much I love my little granite carpet, because that looked a lot like my little granite. And you just reminded me how happy I am that I have outcross granite stuff back in my collection again. Thank you, Nick Mutton.
Yes. Yeah.
Nick Mutton.
Love it. Actually, speaking of Papuan stuff, and speaking of things looking forward to, although I did say Super Zebra stuff, Tony did bring up a good point that I thought was worth mentioning, because I am curious to see this as well. He says he's looking to see the number of Papuan carpet clutches produced. They've gained keeper desire, so it will be nice seeing the clutches support that interest, general Papuan carpet clutches. And so there's a couple things to bring up about that. The general interest has come just in the form of their natural wild type and the natural variability, which I don't know how many other niches of reptiles you can say people are jonesing for a natural wild type animal, other than maybe like super dwarf retic stuff, but like, or some of the colubrids that are just naturally beautiful. But it's a really good point for that reason, because it's cool to see that natural appreciation, but two, because they were such, like 7-8 years ago, considered brown snakes that didn't have much interest. They were $100. What are your thoughts, Eric? Like, what do you, if you were to throw out a guess, what do you see the market trends? What do you see pricing? What do you see the response and interest for like this season and the next 5 years?
I think they're probably going to go neck and neck with jungle carpets, right? Mm-hmm. I think that, that price range, really, really top end, maybe $600 to 600, solid bloodlines, or like, what do I hate? I
don't know.
What do you hate?
Tony said I hate as something. I don't know. I don't hate IJs or Papuans or whatever. So yeah, I see that.
I think you might be saying you hate the fact that I'm about to produce albino citrus tigers, and that you've lost your Frankenstein creation over the years.
Yeah, no, yeah. That's the. No, it's not that I know it's so hard, right? Because I try to convey my thoughts in an hour or two, and like it seems like I'm constantly shifting or whatever. I still love morphs and stuff like that,
Sure.
But I have come to the realization that I can't do it all, and I think when you come to that realization, you sort of start to move away from certain projects that, you were doing just because you felt that you had to do it all, Right. So that's kind of where to me, my love has always, it used to drive me nuts because I would get labeled as this morph guy. Mm-hmm. And like the majority of my collection was wild types.
Right.
You know what I mean? It just was right. That I would share, all these morphs and stuff because I guess
they're exciting.
Yeah, because it's cool. It's not out there, but I don't know, man. I think like, dude, the poison ivy, and this is what this is what we'll have to do for the Patreons next month, right? I will show as best I can some of the Papuan poison ivy stuff.
Nice.
when we do a private stream for those people that care. But
dig it.
The melon, basically they're looking like poison ivy at this point. You know what I mean? So the idea that's possible, I see that Nick's sort of doing it with Darwin's. He's sort of going this melanistic route.
Yes.
So whether it's going to be a line bred thing, or whether it's going to be something that's, incomplete dominant or whatever it would be. I just think there's so many directions. I mean, these wild caughts that I got from Dan.
Yeah.
Dude, those things are showing up big time right now, aren't they?
They're just amazing how beautiful they are.
Stupid, colorful.
I completely agree with what Tony said here. IJs will surpass the jungle in terms of color and contrast. I mean,
they already are.
There's so many different looks and they're just vibrant, and like those banded ones that you showed recently, Eric, too, that just blew me away.
So man. I think if people who are producing good quality Papuans, IJs, and I see, here's the thing. We get carpets kind of like, you can appreciate a carpet regardless of lineage, and you can take it on face value or word value. But I think in order to distinguish the true value within like true good quality Papuans and just something off a jobber's table, the lineage aspect of the Morelia world is going to be very essential here. Because we have so many wild caught animals, or because they can get crossed over so easily, or because information can get lost, essentially, we have the opportunity to really start this selectively bred like culture within this subspecies the right way and maintain that from the beginning, instead of looking at it later going, shoot, I wish we would have, maintained all that information. So people like Mike Curtin with his F3 Papuans that he posted, and you with your collection, and Steven Katz and Jacob Bratz and Tony and Craig, and all these people that just have some of the most killer. I mean, Mutton has some too. Let's be real. I mean, Jason Balin, Owen has some via Jason, and there's a good pool of currently well documented, very diverse blood that can be just documented and maintained from start to the future. And we can take this variability and do exactly what we've just been talking about, and refine it the way that jungles have been refined, evaluate it the same way. And then, people like, because if the market goes that way, and all of a sudden I need to find like a really high value, high orange, really nice, colorful animal, and I've got to pay $400 to $600 for it. I'm going to do it all day.
That's not bad.
Not at all.
Better than blackheads.
To sort of jump on your thoughts there, Riley, I think that we're in a good spot, right? Because us, the current, let's say, from 2011 on, have sort of like, because prior to 2011, you had a select group, Yasser, Anthony Caponetto, I'm sure I'm forgetting Boa Cabana, these specific breeders of Papuan carpets that sort of like, they were always kind of poo-pooed as, just this earth tone, dirty looking carpet. And when you compare it to a jungle. And I think this goes to my whole speech that I always give about do what you love, and, don't worry about what other people are doing, because I lived that, right? At the time, jungles were the hot thing. Everybody wanted jungles. Everyone you talk to, that's where the whole light side versus dark side thing came. And it was like this push and pull about, the jungle people saying that their snakes were better. The IJ people saying, no, my snakes are going to surpass your snakes in no time soon. And, building a collection, I think we then sort of became focused on sort of lineage of stuff. And the issue with jungles is that there's a lot of questionable areas along the way that, there's these question marks that can't go any further, either because the people are no longer alive, they don't remember the information, or you can't find them or whatever, So you have this group of people that are passionate about this species that you can legally import wild caught animals, and we can establish a amazing group of variety of bloodlines that we can't do with any other carpet python. I mean, Bredli has 5-6 bloodlines. That's it. unless all of a sudden Australia opens up. Inlands have 4, Darwins have 5, coastals have, I think there's maybe like 6 or 7 different bloodlines, and then that's it, and a lot of the stuff has been crossed together, so you can't really, outcross, whereas we really have wild caught animals that you can really outcross and have really genetically healthy, diverse group of carpet pythons that will, which is why I try to grab every single type of, if a wild caught is available, I try to get it, because Indo may shut down at some point. You never know what's going to happen. And once they close the door, then we're in the same boat as we are with Australia. But luckily, a lot of people have been bringing them in. I know you have wild caught stock. I have wild caught stock. Chris Lemmy has wild caught stock. Cats, all these different people that have this wild caught stock. We can trade babies and cross things out. I mean, I don't know, man.
I think you're dead on with it. There's a lot of people that keep hitting me up for some of my F1 stuff, and like I'd love to give it to them, but to be honest, I would rather trade with other Papuan people right now to help do exactly what you're talking about, is weave a strong foundation for the future of that species.
It's invaluable, that genetic diversity. It's like you're saying, when it's gone, it's gone. You can't, you can't get that in everything else besides the Papuans, and it's so important. It is so important.
Yeah. And I'm good. I think it was Tony said that, are we seeing that the wild caught stuff is sort of looking a little better than some of the stuff that's in the collection now? I'm just going to post up these pictures real quick so you can see, like, this is the stuff that I got from like, look at that girl.
That's one of the wild caughts from Dan, right?
Yeah, they're wild caught.
Oh, nice.
It's a beautiful animal.
Look at Why don't I have those? I need more of those.
Yeah,
man. It's
it's
good stuff.
Bringing up Papuans and imports and stuff. Now that Dan's overseas, would you say right now it's pretty difficult to get good quality imported Papuans?
The only place that I've seen them have any, so the guy that I will not buy from had an amazing trio.
Supposedly a trio. Not a verifiable trio. I can fucking promise you that.
Yeah. And I couldn't do it. I could not do that.
Vote with your dollar, people.
That's right, man. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
But I think the only other place you could possibly get it is Outback, And Chris Salemi, man, he has this one. Let me see if I can find it, because
Chris is a sleeper, man. He doesn't post online. Good for him. I can understand why he doesn't. And I know he's super busy, and he's a zookeeper, and he's a warrior. That guy's a good dude, but he's got an amazing collection of Papuans that nobody seems to remember, myself included.
Yeah, he has this one striped wild caught. Oh man, I wish I could find it. Of course, I'm not going to be able to.
Yes, I know Underground and Outback and some of those places will get imports in, and they still bring imports in across various species. It's just, I feel like when it was through Dan, there was a lot of confidence in knowing what you were getting was going to be healthy, good, well represented. And unfortunately, not because these other companies are malicious or anything, they're just so big, it's hard to keep, direct, instant, contact with every single buyer, that you just really don't know what you're getting and the shape it's in. And it's always a roll of the dice with a big import supplier like that.
Yeah.
I am sure you have seen this snake, but this has to be one of my favorite. I mean, look at that thing.
Wow.
That's a wild caught.
Damn, I need that.
That snake
Looks
just
like
gets
a
me every
different
time, man.
freaking
Wow.
species. If you covered up the head, I wouldn't know what that was.
That's cool. That's really
Yeah.
cool.
And then I think I don't know if I've ever shared this on here, but like we talk about, just the different places you can go. And I know you guys have seen this, but this girl that I have,
Yes. That thing's
like,
amazing.
just the color on her is just nuts.
Yeah. She's wild.
So nice.
Yeah. So I don't know, man.
Do you have any pictures of those banded ones?
The banded ones? Yeah. I'm sure I do somewhere.
I feel like, right now there are very few reputable importers that you could reliably get Papuan carpets from right now. Now that Dan's gone, because he had one of the larger contracts out of Indo. There's a few people I know with contracts from like Malaysia and stuff like that, but nobody was, bringing in the volume and frequency and, caliber of animals that Dan was. And I've seen some of it, and I've seen the not so pleasant side. Somebody local to me who I won't mention, she just had to go through one hell of an ordeal with an imported animal from one of those big companies. And basically, long story short, the animal is no longer on this earth and had a really rough, month or two in captive care as a result of it. And, to me, Dan leaving and there sort of being this absence of good, reputable, reliable Indo importers, I think you're going to see the availability go down with the added increase in attention and desire for them. Demand is going up. And, with COVID making, exotic animal stuff a little dodgy, shipping and international wise, I think you're going to see a big choke on that supply chain. And, we all know what that does.
Yeah.
So I think we have a really incredible opportunity to set the species or the subspecies up for a long, prosperous, and healthy future of good color, good breeding, exceptional value.
100%.
Absolutely. Yeah.
This is the mom of the banded girl.
It's so cool. I think that's my favorite.
It's probably one of my favorite snakes, man.
I'm a sucker for good banding.
I remember seeing her at Carpet Fest. That snake's nuts.
Yeah, man. It's I love that snake, that big chunky head with those. I love these like black, you know what I mean? Like the black in the labial pits that sort of
like
separate
a skull.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah.
So
and
cool.
the babies are looking a lot like that. So I'm well, you guys will see soon enough when we can ship, I guess, at the end of the month, Yeah. I mean, like just here, just alone, I mean, man, you got me talking about IJs now. I can't stop.
That's fine. You got like another hour. Just keep going.
Like that's something I produced.
Yowzers! What is that?
Look at that thing. It's just something that's from the tiger stuff. Like look at the pattern sort of disappear in there. You could probably go stripe there. There's that one. Like trying to recreate that.
Yeah, you got some orange stuff. You got some yellow flames. You got some craziness. The rich blacks with the yellow mouth. That's nuts.
So
wow.
So this one was the male. That was from that female, the banded female. It was a tiger. I mean, zebra granite. How'd that get in there?
Whoa! We went off track here.
Oh, speaking of supers, there you go.
Look at that.
Can you see that?
Yeah,
that's my super zebra.
What the heck is going on in the comments on that one?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I think the potential for Papuan selective breeding and I think you're dead on in that 400 to 600 price range, because to be honest, once we get to a point where the folks have laid the groundwork and we're selling stuff, the quality is just going to be through the roof. I mean,
and then like, yeah, man. And then when you take like, if you want to go just a different direction, you just have something like, this, where you have more of that chestnut where it's burnt at the top. You know what I mean? Like I just love how that's sort of like it looks like it's just burnt.
The
cool.
variability is just insane. And that's what's so cool about it. And that's all carpets, right? Like the Papuans we can get more of, and everything else we just kind of have like a very small snapshot of the gene pool. But like the picture you showed earlier, like other subspecies can look completely not like how we think they look too. It's just we don't have access to all the material, all the genetics.
Yeah. Here's a better shot of mom and the banding for you. Sorry for the people that are listening, but
that is so cool.
Man,
there you go.
That's a killer snake.
I like banding. Blackheads, Lomas, Brevels.
Yeah, right. I noticed a trend. You need
tiger
zebras.
Snake.
You need zebras.
You said zebras. I said tiger snake.
You went way extreme. I think you can do a tiger rattlesnake where you're at.
Oh,
Maybe. Actually, no, they're Arizona. You probably can't.
I don't want anything that could kill me.
Yeah.
Well, better tie your shoes, buddy, because you could trip over your laces
being all
and fall
smart.
down the stairs and die.
That's fair. I just don't trust myself.
This was the sire to the clutch, by the way, just so you see what I was trying to go for. Oh no, not video. What the? But trying to like just intensify those bands.
That's so cool.
So that's a Boa Cabana girl, boy. I mean, but
nice. So that one clutch of Papuan eggs that I got from the female that broke her back, it's at I think 36 days in the incubator right now. So,
nice.
Assuming all 10 eggs make it, we'll have a second round of those, and depending on the gender ratio, I will either be sending you a baby from that clutch, or I'll send you one of the two females from the first one. So
it's been 36 days since she laid.
Yeah.
Man, time flies.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Dude, and she's gotten worse, man. So for anybody that's curious about like what happened, she laid, she broke her back, broke some ribs, and is paralyzed from that injury site down. And at first, obviously from other than the weird defect at the spot, she kind of looked normal. Now her scales have gotten like plastic and tacky. She's developed a respiratory. She's not gone to the bathroom at all. I can't even get the oral meds into her anymore because she's so full of mucus. I'm worried she's going to aspirate. She's just a big limp bubble at the bottom. So
that's not
good. I think she's doomed. So it's going to be the end of the road for her, as I kind of assumed it would be. But for anybody else who's listening, if you're going to become a vet, call people back, damn it. I swear to God, if I call my vet one more time and leave a note for the receptionist and they don't call me back for a week, I'm going to lose my freaking shit.
Yeah.
Because it's unbelievable to leave a patient hanging. I called my vet 4 or 5 days ago to let her know that this is not working and this animal is going downhill, and I have not received a call back. And guess who's suffering from it? The animal. So if anybody wants to become a vet, learn to be better with bedside manner than most people are.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's y'all's take on having a good collection of IJs, like line bred high orange stuff, then using that to create designer lines, subspecies crosses? Ryan, you and your retic mentality. Is he trolling us? Get out of here, Ryan.
Well, I don't have any, but if I was to start mine from scratch right now, I would
not do
subspecies crosses.
Fucking Ryan. God.
It's sort of why I agree. It's like you're trying to, when you think about it, right? This whole idea of what I just said about having all these different bloodlines and different wild caughts and outcrossing and all that. I think, once you get into this idea of the morphs and stuff, you sort of like just become obsessed with making the next coolest thing. And that's where the lines become muddy, right? because somebody, we can represent everything the way we say, it's a cross, it's this, it's that, and da 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 da. But 3 years from now,
it all gets
whoever
lost.
has it is going to be saying that this is this is an X. It's happened to me 3 times to people that I didn't even sell snakes to, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I got this." What was it? Albino Darwin from Eric Burke at EB Morelia. And I'm like, well, first of all, I've never bred Darwins, so you didn't get it from me. Like, I mean, I don't know. It just
the hell you did.
Yeah, I've sold snakes where people were like, I got this beautiful jungle from so and so from this year. I'm like, I didn't produce jungles that year. They're like, what is it? I'm like, not a jungle. There's not even jungle in that. I told you nothing with the word jungle, and people just they remember what they want to remember sometimes.
Yep, and also that's where it gets tricky when you're not actually buying from the person that made
Stuff
the
gets
babies because
yeah,
it can be not to call out pet shop owners, but it can be advantageous for them sometimes to call it maybe a little something different.
Yep.
For that extra $50.
Or they omit a detail. They just leave it a generic name because it's not the customer basis. It's just somebody who wants to buy a pet, but then they go out and change.
It came from this person's stock, so I can bump it up just a little bit more.
Right.
If I don't really know that, like I hate to say that, but that happens.
I've seen it happen. Sure. I remember before COVID hit, there was a show out here in the Bay Area, and a very, very prominent particular shop in the Bay Area had a booth at this table.
Oh yeah.
And they had some carpets on the table. And I remember walking by and I was like, oh, they've got some carpets over there. And I went and looked, and the first thing that really rubbed me the wrong way was they had an acrylic stack, and they had what was clearly some sort of probably an M-Pen coastal, or it was very gray and stripy, had that kind of coastal M-Pen look to it. And they had it labeled as a Jag. No Jag. Wow. Not a Jag. And then they also had it marked for like $500, which is silly.
I think I know who you're talking about.
You do.
And I think that I've also seen certain labels that don't exist.
You probably know this one too.
Red Morph.
Yeah. You probably also know this one. So you know how Ivory and Ocelot and things like that are kind of come from very exclusive bloodlines.
Yeah.
And like they're not just willy-nilly everywhere, and certainly not wholesaled to pet shops.
Nope. You're not gonna see that.
This same vendor had what was just a generic Jaguar on the table, labeled as an Ivory Ocelot Gamma Jag.
Ooh,
and they had it priced at $1,500, and it was a little baby, and I was like, sure,
good lord.
Sure. And I ended up knowing exactly who produced that animal, who the shop was, where they got it from, and I kind of was like, hey, by the way, so and so's doing this and this. And 20 minutes later, that label was scratched out and just said Jungle Jag, and the price was down to like $200. I was like, yeah, whatever shop you sold to is not an ethical one. I'm not going to name names here, but Lucas, you know exactly who I'm talking about.
No, I'm with you.
It's shitty. We certainly don't do that at GX3.
No, and unfortunately, that's the reality of certain folks in this industry, and that's why it really does matter, even as a beginner, to educate yourself before you buy an animal, so that you can avoid that kind of a pitfall.
Sure.
Do the research so that you know that what you're getting actually looks like what the label says.
And I do want to bring up, this is like a little asterisk. I'm not morph bashing. No, morphs are cool, and I have no problem with people crossing, especially the people that do disseminate the information, like folks making snows or double het snows or things like that.
Albino Brettles.
Yeah, they do their best to represent them the best as possible. It's not their fault that, stuff gets lost in translation. We've all heard of the game of telephone where it sort of gets mixed up. Sure. And then there's the other side of it where people are intentionally trying to cross things to see what they can make. And
sure.
Like Tony has a wonderful project that I personally would not pursue, but I love seeing the results and that he's sticking with it for however many years. He's adding caramel into some IJ stuff, and he's just trying to see what it does with the jags and some striping, and he's making some arguably phenomenal, beautiful, colorful animals. Now, are they crosses? Sure. But does that make them bad animals? No. And has Tony sold any of them? No. He's kept them all. Why? Because he's got a goal with them. He's got a project. He wants to see how they go. When it comes time, if he decides to let them go, he's going to be very particular about what information is passed on. He's going to make it very clear that they're not a pure Ida or pure coastal. And, that's where it comes to being particular about who a project goes to. I get a lot of people that hit me up all day for, let me know when the citrus tiger eggs hatch. And I'm like, I don't want to deny somebody the access into that project, but I also want to make sure that that project goes to people I know are going to, remember the information accurately, prolong it accurately, and do stuff with it the right way.
Yeah, it's funny. You talk about citrus tiger, right? And when I was looking for the picture, but I'm with you 100%, Riley. Like I couldn't agree more. I think that the whole, I'm not anti-morph at all. I'm not any of that. I in fact, I still have some of those crosses and stuff. I think for me, I just came to the realization that, just for me personally, it just doesn't have the same, I don't have the same appreciation, I guess, I've did in the past. And I've learned to really, and probably Herpin had something to do with it. Mm-hmm. But when you see something like this, it just drives me insane. The citrus tiger to me has a certain look. It has a certain wow factor. And when I see this, that's just bullshit.
Oh, I remember this.
That's straight up bullshit, man.
Yeah, with $1,000 price tag too.
Yeah.
That's just bullshit. That is not a citrus tiger by any stretch of the means. That is not. It's just not. I mean, when you look at, I'm just like, I don't, it just, I don't know. It does a disservice to the project. I mean, like you have, man, I'm trying to, I wish I could.
I'll find a good one too for you too. And I'll try and get that pulled up too. Cause I know exactly what you're saying. Mm-hmm. And I share the sentiment, especially after I've seen the caliber of the female that produced my female, which I'm in love with.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
That's night and day different.
Yeah. That's a citrus tiger.
Right.
That
I have not produced anything that doesn't look like that from breeding citrus tiger in that line. You know what I mean? Like it's always had that same type of look. Now it might not have that gray fish netting that's on the side, but when you see, dude, it's just, it drives me nuts. Yeah. I mean,
and then the hardest part is like, there are genuinely people who do it like on a mistake. And then there are people who do it to like get a few extra $100 out of somebody.
Right. And there's a difference between like the intent or just being ignorant.
Right. And unfortunately, more often than not, there's intent behind the mislabeling.
Yeah.
See, this is one I produced. The last clutch that I made. That's a citrus tiger. I mean, you see the look, and it looks just like mom. That's going to turn all gray. The yellow's going to intensify.
It's an inheritable phenotype. Even if the animal doesn't have like a crazy stripe all the way, like that one male you sent me, it's like a bunch of broken stripe, but it's got the color, it's got the look, the head look, like all the tones are there. It's slightly different, but it is a citrus tiger without a doubt. You can see the look in it.
That's a citrus tiger.
God,
that's one of my males.
That thing's so nice. I feel bad for everybody listening on the audio who can't see this, although most of the people that are listening on the audio better be familiar with it at this point.
Yeah. I'm sure you've seen the pictures that I'm sharing at some point, but
yeah.
Well,
you can just, here we go. All right, I'm going to put this in the chat, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my newfound skills that Eric taught me. And I'm going to share it so I can exactly.
Dang, that's nice. I saw the picture first.
Yeah, so I can be on the.
Oh yeah.
There we go.
Are you both like logged in as
There it is.
NPR? Is that how you can do this? I don't have
No,
this
so there's a share button on the bottom of the screen.
Oh,
Yeah.
And so if you have it open in
Oh, my
another like
goodness.
Chrome tab. So
you young guys, what the heck? you're totally failing
I
me.
need tech support.
Eric,
bar.
so can you
Yeah,
is this photo showing up?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, that's
100%.
That's pretty good.
That's a citrus tiger.
Yes.
Mm.
That
That
girl
was
you
her-
got.
That was her right
She's
before
probably-
she laid eggs.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, right before she laid eggs. Look at that, But yeah, man, that's
I'm so
she's
stoked
amazing
for that clutch, man. I cannot freaking wait. She's like 16, 17 days into maternal incubation. And for those of the audience that are here today that are not part of the patron stuff, last night when we were doing our Patreon exclusive, it was really cool to see her leave the clutch, fully come out, go like run a lap on the lights, warm up, and go right back to the eggs. And so she fully left the clutch. I could see the eggs. They're sitting on the bottom of the tub. And then as she goes back in, she picks them up and she's just swirling around them. And the clutch just goes whoop, and perfect, like a freaking Death Star around it. Like, so badass,
That's awesome,
dude.
That's awesome.
I love
that's
snakes.
That's mom.
That's amazing.
And she is a 2009 animal, and she still looks the same.
Look at those little portholes. That is so cool.
I love it.
Lucas,
So-
you got to see her in person, man, because the portholes are the cleanest thing ever, and they glow.
Insanity.
Like even in order to get the color right on the side flanks of a citrus tiger, you have to take a photograph that's photographed in good like high Kelvin lighting, and then you have to turn it up, and then it blows everything out on the background. It looks ridiculous, but that's the only way to get the color. They're just super intense.
Someday, I'll see it someday.
Yeah. I love how it's like, it's got this again. I'm just a huge fan of like when a stripe is going down the back of a snake and you got this dark highlight that sort of highlights that stripe and then turns super light here. And then the black outlines all the portals on the side. Dude, oh my God.
That's
and
unreal.
then when a female is like ovulating with those colors, you know how they glow before they go? Holy shit, man.
Yeah,
that's like one of the most exciting things to see ever. I love it. I can't wait, man.
Cool. Yeah.
I bought every single animal from his. So he produced 3 clutches with his actual pair that came. What I know, he's produced other clutches where he's used different animals, right? Because the female, I think, died after the third one or something like that. I'm not sure, but those 3 clutch, the first clutch I got my first pair from, and that's that female and another male. I paid $1,000 a piece for those animals. $1,000 a piece back in those days. You know what I mean? That was a lot of money, but I'm like, dude, I have to have this project. That snake is just phenomenal. And here's another thing, right? Like everybody else was sort of chasing gamma and stuff like this. I'm like, why am I doing what they're doing to gamma with citrus tigers? You know what I mean? Like to me, this is my wheelhouse. So let me kind of work from here and not worry about this gamma stuff. Let everybody that's doing that do their thing, so we're not stepping on each other's toes. Right. And the next year he produced another clutch in 2010, and I just bought the whole clutch except for 2, the whole thing. He's emailing. I said, listen, man, just give me the whole entire clutch. What? Like the whole clutch, whatever it is, just tell me, and I got the whole thing. So
that's badass.
That is awesome.
That's baller status right there.
Literally.
Well, yeah, I mean, but if you're going to go into a project,
that's how you get it. That's how you do it.
Me and Rob talk about it all the time. Like people will get into a project and they get a pair of animals and they think like that somehow. I'm not saying that you're not going to breed them and produce them and all this stuff, but like if you're really serious about getting into something, you need a group.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Sure.
You need a group of those animals.
100%. Yeah, I mean, there's so many reasons why that's the case too. It's not just because you want different options, but shit happens. You need that redundancy. If you only have a pair 100%. and tragedy strikes like it did with Riley's Popwin this year. If you only have a pair, you're shit out of luck. You're done, and then all that time and money, you got to start over. So. Yeah,
absolutely.
That's why I need all the blackheads now. I need
all
redundancy.
Surrender
Yes.
your Asphodite, or Lucas will find you.
If anybody wants
Darth Asphodite will get you
10 brownie points, just drop off the blackheads. I'll give you my address.
And
It'll
no
all
one
be
gets
good.
hurt.
No.
Nice.
Yeah. Either that or Woma's. It's fine. It's fine.
Either one.
Brett,
Won't
did
be
you guys
picky.
see Brett Bender's clutch?
Oh,
Yes.
did she
Woma's?
finally lay?
She's
Yes.
so nice. She's got that orange belly thing. Like
Yeah, she's
Yes.
gorgeous.
that's something I want to pursue.
What was the size of the clutch? Did he?
I
How
don't
many
think he
eggs?
posted a count, but it looked pretty good.
Nice.
Looked pretty good.
Good. That's
Yeah.
The
it's good.
I have an animal from him.
Yeah.
Amazing
Yeah.
Woma. Yeah, for sure. 100%.
His Womas, Justin's Womas from the Art Avila's line. Casey
I got a pair
with
of those,
Downhill
yeah.
Exotic just got some clutches too. There's gonna be some really nice Womas this year. Obviously the GX3 stuff. Like I want
Yeah.
one from all of these clutches. Like I need another building.
Yeah.
And
So let me ask
money.
you this, Lucas. Like,
Yes.
where do you see your vision of what you want to do with Woma pythons? Like, what are you trying to refine, or what are you trying to do with them?
Refine, definitely high orange. Try to keep that look that male has with the super orange belly. I want to bring that out. If I get something from the reduced pattern clutch, that would be really cool too, to try to combine a reduced pattern with the super orange stuff. You know, that's like some there's some Womas in Australia. I think it's the is it Genbert?
Yeah, Genbert pythons.
They've got some stuff like that is like a combination of that reduced pattern look, but with the crazy like candy corn orange belly, and that would be insane. But honestly, I just would love to have different directions to go with it. You know, really high contrast, strong banding, reduced pattern, no banding, super orange, super light. Like it's kind of endless for something with no
gotta have the
morphs.
variety. Gotta have it
Yeah.
all.
For something with no morphs, there's still endless possibilities.
No morphs in the States yet.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't want them either way, but yeah. And then, you know, how are our blackhead eggs looking? Day 19,
Perfect.
I think.
Still
Yeah?
good. Still
That's
solid.
pretty
Yeah.
good. Day 19.
No change. Everything's good. That incubation method that we're running with the damp coconut husk
That's
with
genius.
Yeah.
Perfectly. My Crebo eggs are perfect right now.
I bought a big sack of it. I got to get the cocoa husk, but I've got the polyfill.
Getting everything on it from Woma eggs, blackhead eggs, ball python eggs, gecko eggs. If we get tortoise eggs, those will be going on it too. Monitor eggs, tegu eggs, all of that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. No, I mean, for the hopeful Brettles clutches that Oi. Sorry. Sorry, Craig.
Alprazolam and Asphodite.
Craig was all
Yeah.
excited.
Oh
He's like, finally,
God.
somebody's talking about IJs. Yes. Wait a minute. What happened?
Woma.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll get back to IJs.
But yeah, for the hopeful Brettles clutches, the ones that I don't do MI with, I'm definitely going to use that polyfill. I mean, that's just such a genius idea that it doesn't wick the water and
you can reuse the
stay dry.
polyfill if you want. Like,
Mhm.
you know, it's really good, and you don't have to worry about like trimming anything to a particular tub size. Like if you've got a tub and it works and it fits in your incubator, boom, you're done.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's really good. It's a good idea. So I think that coupled with making sure, like if you do get condensation on your tub, if you tilt it a little bit, put like a little rod or a pen underneath it, so you're like, instead of level, it's tilted one way, so any condensation on the lid rolls to one side and down the wall instead of dripping on your eggs. I think if you do any of those, combination of those techniques, you will have success with your incubation with, you know, particularly sensitive eggs such as Asphodite eggs.
Yeah.
So
Makes sense.
I'm excited. Yeah, I think it's a great idea.
I've got that adult Woma coming this week as well from Casey that I bought a long time ago. Finally got that shipping window good, and so
Damn, look at you making moves.
LASIK.
Oh, sorry,
Canon.
Casey, I think her last name is Schultz. Zion Hill Exotics.
Oh, sure. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
She's got a couple, at least one, if not two, sailfin
Sailfins.
dragons
Yeah.
from us. Yeah, from
Yep, she's
us,
got
from
the
Grant.
sailfins.
Yeah.
Oh, is that right?
I'm
That's
pretty
awesome.
sure she's bought one or two from Grant's big male, the purple chested male.
She has a crazy blackhead that very much looks like the female that laid at GX3 as well.
Yeah,
She has a boy with that same pinstripey look, and I was like, dang, it's too bad you're over there, because that would have been a cool clutch if you guys could have put things together this year. But no, I'm obsessed with her collection. She's the next Humans of Herpetoculture guest, so that's gonna be
Oh, nice.
alprazolam and aspidites session right there. Like, whatever that means.
Yeah, I was trying to figure that out as well.
I don't know what that is.
It's probably a medication.
Yeah.
Google it.
Okay.
Eric, I wanted to ask you what's the next step for poison ivy stuff?
So I was going to breed sibling to sibling this year, just because I'm at that point. But I didn't breed this year. But next year will be sibling to sibling to see what happens. And yeah, I don't know. The sucky thing, so far the sucky thing with the poison ivy stuff is that, and if you go back all the way to the beginning when the project started with Jake Milbrat, he had this amazing pair of these, very dark IJs, very melanistic IJs. He brought them together and they all came out normal. So he kind of like sold them all. And turns out that that's what poison ivy was in that clutch. And I still to this day believe that a lot of those melanistic IJs that look very similar to her are all from that same clutch. I have no way to prove it. I think there was a couple people out your way that had some that looked like
Emily Stoddard,
exactly.
who I don't believe she breeds them anymore. She might still have her pair, but she's kind of dipped out of the scene. I bought a pair of half siblings because she bred two pairs one year that all were really good. So they like had some wild caught blood, some het granite blood, a few other things in there, and I've got it saved somewhere in my computer, but they're really dark, really dark babies. And she kept the entire two clutches for a while before she decided to sell and get out. And she undersold them as far as pricing goes. But I've got my pair of them and they're black, like coal black. Yeah. Amazing. But like in two different ways. Like the male, he gets a little orange flames come up the side. Female, just dark all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely one of those things. Yeah, there's one male that I have that's exactly like that. It's like melanistic, like crazy melanistic going down, and then there's just these. It just like the saddle has this like little bit of like orange, and the contrast between this bright orange and this black is just, it looks like it's on fire. Every time I look at it, I'm like, oh my God, this snake is amazing.
I remember feeling that same impression when I was out there for Carpet Fest 2 years ago and holding one of the PI babies, and yours is like a true black, like it's darker and cleaner than these two. So I see the distinction, and yours just way nicer. But I always think about that, because poison ivy is obviously no longer with us. What from a responsible standpoint / line breeding / exploratory standpoint, you obviously have the whole clutch to experiment with and take it down those couple avenues. So,
right. Yeah. I tried to make sure that I have a very dark. It was actually the one that the one that produced for you, that group that we got from Dan. For whatever reason, they were darker than the first imported group that we got when Katz was getting them. But that second one, I don't know what it is. It reminds me of like the head exanic animals, right? So, which by the way, man, those head exanic IJs are vicious.
Yes. Yes. I made the mistake of putting my female at head height, and dude, she comes real close to face bites.
Yes.
Oh,
100%. My female
bite the
every
tub,
time.
She'll bite herself.
Oh.
She'll bite the hide. She'll bite the bowl. She'll bite the hook. She'll bite everything.
Anything. Yeah, she's just like, I don't know if it's a food response.
Yeah.
I don't know if she's
I need
pissed
more
at
snakes
the world.
that want to hurt me.
Dude, they're meaner than.
I got bit by my
meaner than
inland.
sin.
Like, what's up with that? My inland bit
What?
me. Yeah.
How dare you?
You
Too much
I was
anxiety.
showing
Yeah,
somebody. I was like, these snakes never bite. So nice. And then just chomp. Like, it was.
Yeah.
It's like when I got bit by our Bolins at the shop. She full on food wrapped me. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, this isn't supposed to happen. What's wrong with you?
That's an intimidating snake, man. And Bolins, like
a baby inland, hell yeah, it was.
Yeah. You little weenie.
Not the
that Bolins girl's head is like, good size. So those teeth I felt every one of those teeth go in. It was like,
it's a scrub.
Yeah,
it's basically a scrub python.
It was solid, man. I felt. I was like, oh shit, I screwed up.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we talked about to the point earlier, right? To sort of what Ryan and what Tony were talking about having these, mixing these IJs with the make it designer animals and stuff. I have nothing against that, but here's the what could have happened with Poison Ivy if what's his name didn't get out of it and sell her. His first breeding to her was to a jag.
Right. Yeah. Great.
So
thank you very much.
Okay. I guess at the time
IJ Jags had some semblance of allure then.
Yeah, but the whole idea of the IJ Jag was it's going to be yellow, and now you're breeding it to this black animal. Just I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm on my Nick Mutton stool of
do it.
Now we're with you on that stool. I have a feeling
my preaching stool of But no, it's like that project could have been lost and gone, because if something would have had she only produced three. I think she produced 3 clutches for me, and luckily they were all pure IJ stuff, but like if I wouldn't have gotten her, who knows, maybe she would have died and produced 3 clutches of IJ Jags, which, I mean, when's the last time you saw somebody trying to sell an IJ Jag?
Never.
I mean,
I bought a few over the year, man. I had one like 6 years ago. I sold her 6 years ago, but I got her like 8 years ago, and she was the angriest jag I'd ever had. She would get so high, like stress and angry, that she would arch her back, like invert it and flatten her ribs out, and she would eat.
Holy shit.
She would get so angry, and then when she'd eat, she'd wrap and she'd stay all like flattened like a weird broken disc, and like, dude, meanest snake ever. But like it manifested in like she'd arch her back so much that she would like concave and go flat, and her ribs would go flat, and like it was like,
sounds like a falsie. What the hell?
Dude, it was gross. It was grotesque looking.
Right.
She was just high stress all the time, and I ended up selling her to I don't even remember, but yeah, she was a knucklehead.
That's crazy.
Yeah, IJ Jags at at one point when it was new and hadn't really been really explored much, there was certainly some exploratory value to it. But nowadays, unless somebody's gonna revamp a cool cross project and try and market something through their own, like if Tony were to really dial in the caramel IJ Jags that he's produced and really show that like if you do this and make some beautiful crosses and selectively breed, you can get some of the orangest pattern in some nice yellow IJ Jags, then he creates a new value in something, right? By showing his interest and his passion and developing it and putting in work, and then saying, look, this is what I created. I appreciate it for X, Y, and Z. If you like this, here you go. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just it's different than it was when it was not it had been done. And it's just interesting to think about. I constantly think about Poison Ivy when I when I check on those two animals from Emily Stoddard, especially right after a shed, I constantly think of what they are going to produce, because they didn't produce this season. I was for sure thinking that female would drop a clutch, but she was just kind of getting her training wheels on. So I think next season she'll be good to go. So I wanted to see what she produces, but it makes me think about the same situation with Poison Ivy, like especially now that I'm in the process of losing that sort of founder, really dark melanistic female of mine.
Right.
Right.
It puts new value on the 1.2 that I kept from that year. It puts new value on the males that I place with everyone. It puts new value on the clutch that I have in the incubator, and I'm really curious to see what comes out, and then, take it to the next step, siblings sort of thing, puts, complete pairs for some people and see what they do with it. Because ideal situation, get a bunch of females, and everybody they sent males to can get a female, and I'll keep, maybe one or two, and then that'll leave like one or two for somebody else to help expand. But it's like, it has to be done responsibly in my eyes. And I think about Poison Ivy and what could have been and what we could have lost, and then the future. And so
absolutely.
Yeah. So it's not, and again, this sort of like, when you sort of, for me, when I reflect on these things that have happened to me or that I've seen or whatever, it sort of like shapes my ideas. And like when I really have a moment to sort of think about these things, this is why I am where I am right now. You know what I mean? Like, I think that, I'm going to get out of the way of guys like Tony and Ryan and all these guys that want to make these designer animals. Martin, he does an amazing job of like doing the gamma stuff. There's so many people out there that are doing it. And I'm just like, let them do it. It's awesome. They're only going to promote carpets in an amazing way of some of the most crazy animals that they make. You know what I mean? Like, it's just amazing what they're creating, even as much as I wouldn't do it, but the albino Bredli is just like, come on, man. I mean, I think even Nick Button was like, oh God, I think he had to take he might not admit it, but he had to take a pause and say, oh, okay, well, if God forbid we ever found an albino Bredli in the wild, then, I would be able to make something like that. Cause I know it used to drive him nuts. They would have, he's like, I have a caramel, I have a zebra. He really likes that sort of busy type of pattern of like caramel zebras and stuff like that. And he used to tell me, it kills me that I can't produce them, because I'm like, well, why not? Just do it, man. Like, what is everybody going to just bust your stones for like a year, and then everybody will forget about it and we'll move on. It will be funny carpet fetch jokes when you're, like, haha, remember when you used to be pure?
Right. Speaking of which, can we talk about Owen Boo Boo?
Yeah. And like, yeah. Like, look at him, man. He's like going full on. Yeah, man. He's full on.
He threw a red tiger jag to a zebra.
No, a red zebra jag, a red tiger zebra jag.
Just a jungle
to a jungle. Yeah.
Owen, where did we lose you?
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's like the two of us cannot ever be the same. So it's like, if he can't this way, I have to go that way. And it's just like, we can't ever, exist in the same plane.
Did he do that on purpose? He made it sound like it was an accident in his message. He was
yeah.
On that one.
I'm going to venture to say no, because when he came and picked that snake up, he sort of said, what can I breed this to? And I was like, I'll just put it in with the jungle. Very good.
There you go.
Not here to defend himself, because he can't say any witty snaps back at us.
Yeah.
I do miss it, though. Keeps me on my toes. I feel entirely too comfortable.
Yeah. I like his tone. The tone he uses, like, how dare you?
He's got some good famous catchphrases that could be on t-shirts, and people are like, ha 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 ha. That's
yes.
Line.
Yeah. He is a witty son of a bitch. I will give him
There's no doubt.
I constantly have like weird feelings pulling me towards just having Papuans and Papuan carpets and nothing else. And then I'm like, but then I'll never get to see my striped jungle project through, and then I won't get to do this and that. And what about my Crebos and this and that? But like, God dang it, if I don't feel an itch towards literally having only Papuan carpets and Papuan pythons. Like if I had nothing else, I would still be okay.
I feel that, but ask me.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Are like gray Jedis actually balance mutts? Yeah, I guess so.
Your IJs are just Qui-Gon.
Yeah, exactly.
Qui-Gon.
Yeah, the mutts are the dark side. Yeah, but I mean, again, I think that the morphs help. But I don't know. It seems like I don't know. I keep thinking this, and it may be just because I'm not on Facebook all the time, but it just makes me think like that the morph thing with carpets is sort of came and went. Mm-hmm. Am I wrong to feel that way? It just seems like you don't see as much attention like you did, say, 5-6 years ago.
Yeah, it doesn't. You're not going to blow up the internet these days with a nice looking Jag like you would 10 years ago. You know.
Do you think that's because people have like the newer reptile keepers have just like they don't want no parts of Jags and stuff like that? Like they've kind of moved away from that, or do you? What's your thought?
There's a bit of in the reptile hobby as a whole. I think there's a bit of sort of like this unspoken, almost shaming if you work with anything that has a potentially questionable side to it, like Jags or spiders or scaleless, or like whether you agree with it or not. There's like
oh, the Patreon people or the people that weren't there yesterday missed that whole thing.
We went into that.
Yes.
But there's like this unspoken like shaming and taboo towards people if they work with those things. And I don't know. I think the morph stuff has definitely lost some of its like novelty, we'll say. It's never going to go away. But I think nowadays there's a bit of this public, like if you aren't truly passionate about this species in its natural way, then like you really shouldn't, and how dare you? And it's like almost like nobody's going out and bullying people, but like you can almost feel it and see it in some of the comments and things online. And I don't know. Yeah. Maybe I'm just perceiving all of this and it's not really there.
Yeah.
But I would like
it's
to
not
think
reality,
of it,
but
yeah. I would like to think of it more as just like a balancing of the scales a little bit, you know,
sure.
No pun intended, but you know, it seemed to me, at least when I was first getting into this, that if it wasn't a morph, it didn't matter, you know, and now I feel like and it might just be that I talk the most with you guys and people that think the way we do, but it seems like there's at least a lot more emphasis in appreciating the actual animal. And you know, the paint jobs are fun. I can't wait to see what a stonewash stripe looks like, how hypo stripes look. You know, I'm all about it, but at the same time, if I could only keep, you know, one Brettles, I'd get a nice normal, because that's what took millions of years to create, you know, for very specific reasons. Like, I don't know. It's just, I'm a natural history person. That's my thing. If that's not your thing, it's okay. But
I just see the pendulum swinging back towards more appreciation towards things like colubrids and natural boas and obscure species. And it kind of brings along this return and resurgence of appreciation of things in their natural state a little bit more, coupled with, you know, the novelty of morph stuff wearing off a little bit.
I think there might also just be a little bit of a sour taste in people's mouths from the negative side of things like the ball python explosion and maybe how that negatively impacted certain things. And I think that is very intertwined with morphs and the commodification of broken genes that make things look funky, you know. I don't know. Maybe I'm off on that, but
Yeah, it's weird. It's hard for me to judge because it's like I used to be so intertwined with what the more, and I still do follow it. I still do, I've pulled away from Facebook a lot, so I'm not seeing it there. Yeah, I just don't know. It's hard for me to put my finger on it, but it just seems like I have more people contacting me about whether it's IJs or whether it's coastal carpets or, these, I don't know, it just inlands, diamonds, stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. It's, I think maybe it's cyclical, maybe like you're saying, the pendulum's just swinging back the other way because, more people are, maybe you have more keepers coming in that are keeping in naturalistic setups, and they really want the naturalistic look of whatever species they're trying to keep. But I don't know. It just seems like it's sort of moved away from it. But I could
know
be
for
wrong.
me, like a large, a big thing for me doing the environmental studies in college and whatnot is like, having the piece of nature in a box here, right? Like if shit continues to hit the fan in the way that it appears to, and things start disappearing out in the wild, do I want a tiger albino something or other scaleless rough scale python, or do I want what we used to have that's not there anymore?
Right.
I want the normal. I want to preserve what is real.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's something that is probably more specific to me and the way I think. I don't know. A little bit of a weird thing.
Yeah, it's and I don't know how much we influence that. You know what I mean? Like, is it because of us talking about, Australia, or, and then, you see, again, not to put Craig on the spot, but you see him posting up these amazing animals, and then you see these other people that are just coming out of the woodwork that are just posting up just amazing normal looking animals, and you're like, it makes people go, oh, maybe you don't need a morph. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's kind of
if you need the morph to appreciate the species, it's probably not the right species.
Right.
I would definitely say that Keith McPeak has had a huge influence on me when it comes to that, right? Because his just, again, just herping with him and spending time with him and hanging out at his house. And, it's just sort of like, I don't know, man. You know how it is. You're around different people and they sort of influence you in a way, and they get you thinking, and you're sort of like, oh yeah, I guess that, it's like he says this line of like, if you can't see the species through the morph, you know what I mean? Then,
exactly.
I think that's why not to pick on them, because I'm not picking on them, just using them as an example to sort of clarify this, but that's exactly why people outside of the ball python realm of things can so quickly point a finger to almost make fun of them, because from the outside looking in, it seems like everybody only cares about the outer paint job and not the animal underneath it. It seems that way. Of course, that's not 100% the case.
Right.
You can't
I think that it is fair to say that a larger proportion of ball python folks wouldn't be able to tell you about their natural history.
Right. And there are some people that are absolutely enthusiastic about that, but do appreciate the animal. And then there are the people that appreciate the animal for the pet value, but they just want to see it in a pretty color, and they'll just keep like two like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think most of the people don't value the Python Regis for what a Python Regis does in Togo, Ghana, Benin, how it plays a role in its
ecologically. Yeah.
Like,
and asterisk,
as long as like a nice wild ball python with a natural setting, like found, photographed beautifully, and put that next to a photograph of the latest morph just on a white background, ball python hobbyists are going to lose their shit over the morph more than the beautiful scenery and the landscape and the information of just seeing the animal in its native state in its natural setting.
Yes.
And there's value to it. I get it. People, pay their bills and feed their families off breeding the morphs, and it's a wonderful hobby. And there are certainly way worse things to spend your money and time on, right?
Yes.
There's absolutely worse things
The asterisk for me is, as long as you're taking good care of that animal and you're still prioritizing animal welfare and you're not just, being a jackass, then it's okay if you're not a natural history buff, if you don't really mind the ecology, as long as you're doing a good job, like,
as long as you care about the animal and try to do your best,
Yeah, and this is why talking about, this is a perfect example that Bob Evans sort of brings up. It's like, do we want to be inclusive or exclusive? And I think what he's getting at is like, sort of, are we splitting ourselves up into, two different camps or whatever? And it's like, listen, I still have morphs. That's why this is always such a weird topic for me to talk about. You know what I mean? Because it sounds like I'm somehow like talking bad about it. And I don't know how to talk about this.
We all have morphs.
We all have more.
I don't know how to talk about this without sounding that way, and I don't mean to come across that way, but I just find it sort of, well, for one, I'm even fascinated by the carpet python hobby, right? And I like to follow where things are going and how it's evolving. I mean, let's be honest, we do 3 different podcasts that sort of talk about carpet pythons, so. Like, to have your finger on the pulse is sort of like part of the whole gig of doing the podcast, which is why I bring up the fact that, like, and I think was it Tony said it, the big morph makers are not advertising or flooding pages like they have, and maybe that's why, to me, the perception is that what happened? Did they all go away? Like, I know it's like every day I was seeing some cool new, combo of whatever, and now I don't see that anymore. So, I mean, it's such a delicate thing. Yeah. So I'm not trying to say that if you keep morphs, they're bad. And I'm not trying to say that if you keep, if you don't keep morphs, you're bad. It's sort of like this, I guess in a way I'm trying to sort of to bring it together and trying to see like where people's head is at right now. Like where are they feeling? Like, what are they looking for for people getting into carpet pythons? What are they looking for? Right. What excites them? Like what is it? Is it just the natural IJ or is it, a caramel zebra axanthic jag? You know what I mean?
When I'm talking about this kind of stuff, like I'm not poo-pooing anybody else's, like, what they like. I'm not yucking anybody's yum, if you will. I'm just explaining what is my thing. And as long as you're doing right by the animal, I don't care what you're drawn to. Like I will never have a problem with you if you're taking good care of your animal. That's it. But yeah, it's not a I like this, so you can't like that. It's I like this, and I also like that, and you can like whatever you want as long as you're being a good keeper.
The problem is people take your like as an affront to their like, and all of a sudden take it as a fence put up between two sides on the same ground. The problem is you can sit on that fence and ride both, which is exactly what Eric was saying. He's not trying to poo-poo morphs. He's saying the emphasis on that has dwindled a bit. And I'm right there with him. I like my pure stuff. I value it for its purity. I value it for what it represents. And I also have a couple, cross projects, and I value them for what they look like and what they represent in their own way. It's not an either an or. We as human beings like to do either or. We like to do this or that.
We're tribal.
Yeah, we vary. I mean, look at politics, look at religion, look at whatever.
Everything.
There's always an us versus them in everything we do because, quite frankly, it's one way to define oneself. It's a way to quantify what you feel, what you believe, whatever. The problem is most people don't realize it doesn't have to be one or the other. You can be that third gray area. You can start that tertiary level. You can ride both sides of the fence.
We all have to be Qui-Gon.
Dude, trust me, I've been feeling this in my time in zoos. I felt that way because it's like I'm in the zoo profession and I'm in the hobby. I'm right in the middle. I am and I'm not in the zoos anymore, but I still maintain that gray area state of mind. And I don't take sides. I don't play like if I follow this thing, I have to associate the same way with everything on that. I think for myself, and therefore I am a gray area, and everybody can do that, and everybody can define themselves without having to make your definition based on what other people are doing. You can close, you can put the blinders on about what everyone else is doing, focus just on the animals and the way the hobby exists, and find what you like and be okay with it. The problem is we just got to stop telling people what they should and shouldn't like.
Just couldn't have said it any better.
Figure it out.
Yeah. Shit, man, we can't even agree on phones. It's either you're an Android or you're an Apple. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's
but if you're an Android person, like, come on.
I'm with you right there.
Let's be honest here.
You know, but it's I try so hard not to, to your point, it's like I try not to put somebody else's thing down by trying to put my thing up.
Sure.
So like I just want to put my thing out. This is what I'm into. You know what I mean? This is what I like. You know, that doesn't mean that I don't like that, you know, and we said it earlier, like albino Bredli. I mean, to me, come on, man, that's just a sick snake. And I can see why people love it. And, you know, if I'm being honest, when I saw it, I'm like, oh God, I could do that. Do I want to do that? Maybe I should just buy one as a pet one day, or, you know, it's just like one of those things. So it's like, you know,
well, you can, there's no rule saying you can't redefine yourself at any moment and add another variable and change your thoughts and admit maybe the way I was thinking was wrong, you know,
it's called growth.
Yeah. And that's the thing.
You know, you're not allowed to do that in this world today.
I don't know about that guy. He's unstable. You know, it's like that kind of perception is such hogwash, you know, like, I mean, I'm kind of glad we didn't talk about it in the first 2 hours. And if anybody who's still sticking through this far is still here, or you fast forward it because somebody told you that we brought it up at the end. I don't like getting into the elephant in the room in the reptile hobby. I don't like naming names. I don't like, you know, opening the valve for the drama in here. I like to keep this drama free. But the only thing I want to say about the late and recent YouTube drama is this division we've just been talking about is exactly what is being put on display by some of the very big names with the huge following. It's like watching children on a playground throw rocks at one another and then go and tell the teacher when they got hit that the other side is doing something wrong, but saying I was involved. It's the pettiest, most childish, unbelievable display of waste of time, waste of energy from people that could do much better with their time, could continue or start to be better role models for the people that are watching them, because they use such clickbait to bring new people into the hobby, yet they act like such children on their platforms. They've lost what it is to love and portray this love of reptiles. And that's why we are here every Monday. That's why we run 10 podcasts. That's why we do Patreon, because we love these animals so much. And there are people out here that want to learn more and share this enjoyment. Instead of sitting on the other side of the fence, throwing rocks at each other, trying to say why we're less terrible for the hobby, but all at the same time looking awful and poorly representing the hobby, you've failed. You've lost sight of your mission. You've lost sight of the goal. You've lost the essence of what your channel is about, what you could be doing. You've completely lost it. Unbelievable. And I've never been more disappointed in my life and ashamed to be a part of the reptile hobby when I see the big names that represent all of us going out there and abusing their platforms by acting like children pissing in the wind at one another. It's the most disgusting thing. And I won't name names and I won't reference anything, because I'm not going to stoop down to that level, because they all know who they are and they should all be ashamed of themselves, because that's not what the reptile hobby is. But guess what? That's what everybody sees. And that's what the common person walking by my window thinks the reptile hobby is, when these big names are out there just arguing with one another. Why not talk about the snakes you love? Why not show snakes? Why not show reality? I know they will claim, oh, we always do. That's why we have these bite videos and free handling. Do it better. Do it better. Like, seriously.
Couldn't agree more. Sensationalism, calling out sensationalism.
Everyone is tired of it.
Inception.
Unbelievable. Yeah. None of these people are going to watch this right now. They're not going to see it all the way to the end. And if they do, I hope they listen. And I hope the people that are here listening go vote with their dollar, go vote with their time, you know, don't engage people that are doing terrible crap like that. You know, we all have a voice, and I've said it a million times. I'm sick of seeing the shit. It's awful. Get back to rest.
I saw this guy, and I'm not really. Somehow he popped up on my. It's his channel is Snakes and Adders, and I think he's in the UK.
Yeah,
and he gave this speech about like these people that are trying to push the reptile hobby forward in a way of taking better care of these animals, a better understanding of them, and really, you know, diving into the natural history and really trying to, you know, just understand what makes these animals tick and like how we can do a better job. And he's naming all these names, and I'm sitting there and I was like, you know, the average person is not going to know any of these people. And, you know, he just listed them one after the other and what they're doing. Like, you know, this one's working with, you know, like trying to understand UV and how it affects, you know, snakes, and how can we better keep these, you know, animals and all this stuff. And he's going on and on. And like, meanwhile, right, his channel is going to get shit. You know, his channel is going to get like, they're not going to watch it because it's not glamorous or whatever. But I got to tell you, I started diving into it, and he's doing sort of exactly what Student of the Serpent is. He's like, he's taking this animal, and he's got maps and everything behind him, and he's taking species by species and, you know, talking about it and whatnot. And yes, it's not glamorous, it's not exciting, and I guess we have to figure out a way. I don't know how you do that to sort of like, I guess for me, I just watch something like that and I'm just drawn in because I want to learn about that species. So to me, that's all I need. This is enough. Just you talking about it is, is enough. It's enough for me to sort of get on board. But like, I don't know, man, this idea that somehow in order to reach the average person, you know, and that was sort of like part of this video, in order to reach the average person, you know, I have to do this or I have to do that. And yeah, I just don't buy that, man. We have to do better. Like, well, to me, that's the lazy way out. Like, I mean, you know, I said it before, and I hate to, I'm not trashing, you know, Steve Irwin or anything, but I think that it started with him. And you look at, like, think about this. Does anybody ever talk about Jeff Corwin?
Not really.
I mean, I do, but I'm a nerd. So
you know what I mean? It's like, I just don't, you know, and again, I'm not saying that one is better than the other, but like, you know, it's sort of like this thing. It's like, yeah, okay. Yeah, you can do it without the, you know, handling the, and I'm not saying that he never handled anything or whatever, but not that sensationalism that sort of came along with that. And I think everybody had this idea that they wanted to be the next Steve Irwin, and like they have this in their brain that this is the only way that somehow you can make reptiles cool. That's just, I don't know, man. They're just cool on their own. Like, just talk about some of the shit that they do, and you're just like, wait, what?
Yeah, exactly.
They do what? I don't know.
For the first 100%. To do it like Steve and Jeff Corwin and those guys, to me, they get a pass because literally nobody gave a shit about those animals until they came and like made things insanely exciting and entertaining, right? You rip the Band-Aid off with them, and then you just stop doing that and get into the educational stuff. You make the name, you've got your Steve Irwin, the industry's under the spotlight. Great. Now people can start being educational and use that door that he opened and run with it. To me, and this is probably very shallow and nearsighted, and I'm sure I'm using a broader brush than is appropriate, and there's probably some good people out there. But to me, if you live and die by your YouTube, like if that's how you make your money, then like, I guess I get why you use clickbait, but that seems kind of like a shitty compromise. Go get a freaking job. I'm sorry. I have a job. I have a YouTube channel, and I don't live and die by my YouTube channel. So I don't feel the need to use clickbait to get as many freaking views as possible to make money. And, you know, like maybe that's the challenge of being a YouTuber. Like if somebody wants to be a content creator, that's the world you live in. But yeah, I think Justin Julander said it perfectly. Yeah. You're gonna do it full time. You do need to use these as tools, right? Clickbait and draw people in, but be good about it. Don't draw people in and then talk about horrid shit and just be a child. Like, draw them in and be educational about it if you've got to do it. But man, you will never see me use clickbait. As long as I have a job and get a paycheck, I have no need to like stoop down to that level. And I've heard all the rationalizations from people about it before, and I don't buy it. I'm sorry.
I think too, though, that there's a certain level of like, okay, I'm just going to use NPR for an example, right? You know, in the early years, the technology that we had really limited to what we could do as far as good audio and good, you know what I mean? But, you know, the content's there, but am I going to lose people because the audio is not, you know, stellar? You know, I think the diehards are going to push through it. And it's sort of like the same people that, you know, like the three of us and probably most of the people in the chat, you put up a video that talks about natural history of a species, we're in. We're probably going to watch it and we're probably going to like it. And it's probably just going to be somebody standing there reading off, something about this snake as they hold the snake or whatever. And, you know, nothing fancy, nothing, whatever.
Right.
The challenge that I would say is that I think that the people that are doing YouTube videos, if that's what you want to do, if that's where you want to go, you got to up the game, man. You got to up the game. You can't, you know, it's just like why I just continually try to make podcasts better and better and better and better. And like I'm working on this Field Herping podcast with Nipper, and you know, you guys, I think I've sent you like a little copy of it. It's just so different than anything that's out there, you know, because I'm trying to up the game. I'm trying to get a listener that could listen to this, right, and be drawn in without necessarily being into snakes. And yes, it takes a lot of time. I've been working on this for months, you know, and like as soon as I think I have it, you know, Nipper's like, no, we got to change something. You know, no, but I'm glad that he does that because he's keeping that quality content. He's keeping the standard as high as it possibly can be for a pod. To me, this is going to be the, you know, again, I don't want to talk like, you know, and then it comes out and people are like, oh, that was shit. But I think like it's going to be, you know, I think with Student, it was sort of what I was trying to get with Student and the Serpent, but I couldn't quite, it was too much of the infancy of like how to do it. But like, you know, Nipper worked up a storyline of this whole thing and how this effect and sounds and all this stuff to convey this story of, you know, of field herping. I don't know, man. So my challenge to the people out there is like, rather than us, you know, complaining about the shitty people, let's do better than them. Let's do better than what they're doing. And they'll just, you know, if clickbait's how you got to get your thing, well, we're going to be better than that. Yeah. We're gonna make it to the content, and that's the hope with this channel, right? The hope is that with the Patreon and all this stuff that we can go to these places, we can go herp in Australia and come back with documentary style, top quality video footage, you know, to do that, to say like, okay, look, we're gonna raise the bar. So
exactly, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do it. I can't wait.
Well, and first off, I think you and Owen set a great precedent in doing it with NPR and setting the bar high for what professional reptile content output can be, and have continuously each year done it better and better and better just because you enjoy the fine tuning of your craft. And what you've essentially done is created a standard that you hold yourself to, and most people, you know, appreciate that without realizing it, but you don't realize it until you see stuff that maybe doesn't have that same attention to detail and standard. And then you really understand like why these people excel at it. And I think you and Owen have set that bar really high. And then, you know, bringing Keith into the fold and Nipper into the fold with these podcasts and Justin and all this good stuff, you've just continued to do exactly what you said. It's just raise the bar, and you don't stoop to the levels of some of the people that are great examples for you of what you don't want to do. Right.
Like, so for somebody like, you know, I loved when Justin Julander did his podcast. You know, I thought it was the greatest thing ever. So when he contacted me and said, you know, he wanted to sort of start something up again, again, to me, it's like, okay, we have this platform, so I want to kind of get these people that I would want to hear putting out content, and if I can help them do that in any way, then that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. When Alan and Kai contacted about the Monitor podcast, I'm like, great, this is awesome. You know what I mean? Like, finally, somebody that's, sharing the same vision, and they want it. And it can't be Eric and Owen that does it, because Eric and Owen don't really know shit about monitors. You know what I mean? We don't know. You have to have people that have that knowledge. So, like carpet pythons, we can talk all day. You know what I mean? I mean, we can just go on and on and on and on and on. But like, knowing, your boundaries and trying to get the people, it's all about, to me, being a leader is all about having the right players in the right positions. You know what I mean? And to me, that's how you set the stage. When Lucas first came, I said, look at this kid, man. Look at this kid. He's got the passion. He's got the heart. You know what I mean? And Riley, we've known you forever in the same way. It was like, these guys have what, they're going to take the torch and keep running with it, because they have that passion for the animal, and hopefully we can be good role models for the next generation, so they can take the torch and they can keep running with it and putting this positive content out for people that they can see these animals are amazing just in their own right. You don't need flash, you don't need pizzazz, you don't need any of that, but you do need somebody that's going to be passionate about it and bring that message to people, so that they're overwhelmed with your enthusiasm. They're like, holy shit, I have to like these. There's no other way, but I'm just into it because they're into it. Oh my God, it must be so cool to do this. So like, I don't know, man. That's the goal. That's the hope. So like, I would challenge people out there, rather than let's stop focusing on them, and we try to stay away from this stuff so much, because it's like, you can't talk about this stuff without sounding negative about things or being in a camp. And I don't want to do that. And we don't want to do that. And that's not the goal. But sometimes you have to talk about these things. And, the thing that I would say is, again, just challenge to be better, be better than what they are. And we'll rise to the top. You know what I mean? And people will get into and appreciate these animals the way we do.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, it's 100% true. Your words right now have come after 10 years of your actions, and that's your 10 years of actions leading up to that statement speaks volumes. I mean, you and Owen have literally just done your thing, what you love, what you're interested in, and look what you built.
Yeah.
Period.
Man.
Couldn't agree more. Well said.
I mean, I know it's weird and say like that about yourself. I'm sure it's uncomfortable talking about yourself like that. That's why I do it so much. That's why I go on to do it so much at the end of all of our shows, because I want people to acknowledge that, because it's real. And they do acknowledge it. Scroll through the chat, you'll see tons of people saying it sort of indirectly or straight up. And the 10 years of people following NPR is a testament to it. And we're just gonna, I can't speak for Lucas, obviously, but I don't think he would disagree when I say that we're just happy to help, keep carrying that.
Oh, hell yeah. I'm still pinching myself. This is crazy. Yeah. It's an honor.
Eric for Carpet Emperor.
Excellent.
I am the carpet.
But,
perfect.
Man.
Well, what better way to kick off the week than that?
I like that.
The Podfather. That's right.
Yep. And Robert Sekaz, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. A plain ball python is still your favorite ball python. I'm with you there, man. I love my big, beautiful normal girl. She's gorgeous. Gorgeous. Can't beat it. Nature is good on its own, right?
There it is.
Yeah, Ian, you typically don't see when I get red, how red I get, because it's usually on audio form. But like, yeah, man, I don't know. I don't know. It's just,
right now.
I love it. That was awesome.
Well, I think each episode we do of this, we kind of just help convey that feeling, and the more people put out good, positive content, the more it takes away any taboo, or the more it inspires people to, maybe put out their first video or their first podcast or whatever it ends up being. it's tough and it's hard, but if you enjoy it and you just keep putting one foot in front of the other, you'll make something great out of it. And I just think that's the biggest lesson to be learned out of it.
Yeah, tomorrow you're going to hear Dr. Richard Ross on NPR, and man, what an episode. I'm telling you, man. Again, this is like trying to keep up in the game, the herp history thing, trying to get those guys that started this whole thing. And man, I can't wait for you guys to hear it. And hopefully by Tuesday, providing that Nipper doesn't change anything, I will have the Field Herping podcast out. And I hope that people really like that because I think it's cool. I listened to it like 10 times. Shit. Like that little clip, like just over and over and over again. I was like, oh man, this is pretty good. Oh man, this is pretty good. I would, so
that's awesome.
Nice.
Went that red after his COVID jab. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I can't wait to hear
good stuff coming down the pipe.
Everything coming down the pipe. It sounds like we've got a new Humans of Herpiculture podcast coming up. Field Herp podcast coming up. NPR happens every week. Carpets and Coffee happens Monday. What else is there? There's Carpet Cliff Notes. There's Colubrid Corner. There's Student of the Serpent. There's the Monitor Keeping podcast, and then one more coming, I believe. And I think that's everything, right?
I think you nailed it.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm getting better each week.
That was smooth.
It'll take a few more tries, but pretty soon it'll just be a little. I'll be almost as good as Owen with his natural outro.
Exactly. Yeah. And where can the people find you, sir?
Nowhere. Don't ever contact me. You're on out. I quit. No,
well, there you have it.
You can find me under Riley's Reptiles on everything, or just Riley Jimison on YouTube.
Yeah.
You can find me on all the things. Centralian Exotics, www.centralianexotics.com.
And I'm just going to promote Morelia Python radio.com. That's the place. If you want to get in contact with us, the email is info@morelia-python-radio. The best, one of the easiest way that you can support us in the network is to like, and I guess now they call it follow the podcast. Now you follow it on iTunes. I don't know if follow is on Spotify too, but I think iTunes is sort of going the way of Spotify to sort of go there, but follow us. And all the different ones that like Riley said that we have, you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and of course right here, if you're watching this on the NPR Network YouTube channel, we're trying to get those subscriptions up. So if you haven't subscribed, please go over and do it. And hopefully we got some things in the works. I didn't talk to you guys yet, but I'm trying to get like little clips, like 5-minute clips of things, of certain things, and sharing things, and that we can put up here to sort of get some content going that way. Great. We got the another way that you can support us is the Teespring store, the NPR Network Teespring store. If you want some swag, that would be the place to get it. And of course, we have the Patreon, which we did our first, monthly chat last night, private chat. Those that was pretty cool. It's because it's a private chat, it can be a little more talk about things you can't necessarily talk about, if you will. There you go. And and the last thing I'm going to say is like the most important thing to follow, like, subscribe, support USARK.
Yeah, absolutely.
I got.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's the best way to end it. Without USARK, we're kind of screwed. So, there's one place to support them. So,
perfect.
All righty. Cool. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Thanks, Eric and Lucas, for making time yet again every Monday. And everyone who's guys this audio, if you made it this far, I hope you enjoyed it. And we will catch you all next week for another Cup of Joe. Carpet and Coffee Monday morning or afternoon, depending on where you're at. And we'll see you all next week.
Have a great week, everybody.
All righty.
See ya.
Peace.